Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back. And today I thought I would give you a little bit of an update as to what was going on with our turkeys. And as you will see and hear from behind me, George is back in with the ladies. And if you caught my previous video, we had to remove George because he was stomping one of the eggs. One of the eggs had started to hatch, and he decided to start attacking the eggs. So when that happened, at that time, after I separated him, I saw one live turkey chick, and then I saw 2 eggs that were broken open with chicks in them that were alive at the time, but they weren't exactly ready to hatch. Maybe in like the next day or 2 they were going to hatch, and I wasn't sure if they were going to survive or not. So there was 2 babies that had been hatched for them basically, and they weren't exactly ready yet, so I wasn't sure if they were going to survive. And then there was one other egg that had a hole in it that I could see its beak, and I didn't think that one was going to survive. So then I gathered up all the eggs after I removed George, and I put them back in a pile and let the moms just kind of do their thing, and I was going to let nature take its course. And so then I came back a day or 2 later, and I again saw the one chick. It came back the next day, and I saw again one live chick. And it was peeking out. All 3 of the moms were in that IBC tote with the eggs, and that one chick was the only thing that I saw peeking out. So then I gave it another couple days, and I eventually saw all the moms out, and I was like, oh, what's going on? So then I came over and I looked, and I saw that there was 3 chicks and there are 3 hens. And once each hen had a chick, they pretty much gave up on the rest of the eggs, which is one thing that we were concerned about happening. So each mom had a chick, and they were totally happy with that, and they abandoned all the other eggs. So I took the other eggs and I tried to put them under a broody hen, and they did not want to sit on it. So then I had to go out and buy another incubator, because my incubator is full of chicken eggs that are in the middle of processing. So I did that, but it had been like 2 days that they hadn't been sat on. So I wasn't very confident in that anything was going to come from that. But I got the incubator, I put them in, and it's been 4 or 5 days that they've been in the incubator. And I candled them before I put them in, and I thought that 4 of them were really close to hatching, and it turned out that they had development in them, but they had died. And then just now I cracked another 7. And all of them were spoiled and rotting, and except for one had a half developed chick in it. The other ones were totally rotted and not pleasant. I still do have 2 in the incubator, but I'm not they were the only thing that looked promising. And I'll give them a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer, but I'm gonna give them a little bit longer. And then we were happy that all the hens had a baby, and they were great moms, and they were tending to them. And I put out crumble for the babies. I put out a small waterer for the babies, and I don't think that they ever used it. and I saw them walking around a lot and picking through the grass and foraging, and they were strong and happy, and we were happy. So we just let it be. And then this weekend, the chicks were about 5 days old, 6 days old. And they were always able to come and go from this netting all they wanted, because it's not a shock or not fence. It's just regular poultry netting. So they're the big squares. And so chicks can easily go through those. And we knew that. And as the moms would like walk the perimeter, the babies would just kind of go in and out of the poultry netting with ease. And then the moms would call them and get all flustered and call them back, and the babies would come back, and they were just barely going outside of the fence. But this weekend that changed, and the babies were getting very adventurous, and they were getting like 10 yards away from the moms, and the moms were screaming at them to come back, and then they would get all upset, and they were charging the fence and getting shocked. They would try to jump over the fence and get tangled, and it was just a big old mess. One of them got tangled. Mike and I went out for our anniversary, and my dad was watching the kids in the farm, and one of the hens got tangled in the netting, and he had to cut the netting away so that she wouldn't strangle herself. And then this weekend, the three of them hit the net so much that it knocked it over, and they were all able to walk out over it. And the problem is that they don't corral their chicks, and they don't like try to bring them back. They don't really have like they're not tied to this mobile tractor like the chickens are. Their coop is like their safe place, their home. And I don't feel like the turkeys are like that at all. They have no tie to that IBC tote or that turkey tractor. And they just were following their chicks, and they started taking off down our hill behind me. And I'm like, we're going to lose these chicks. We're going to lose our whole flock if we don't go run and corral them back. So we brought them back, and I mean, it was easy to corral them back. But almost instantly, the chicks went and did the same thing. And so we're like, we got to do something. This is not sustainable. So we put them back in, and we talked about it, and we're like, that's it. We gotta pull the chicks. This is not safe. Mike has a game cam just down the hill here, and we saw a coyote come 2 nights in a row, just the night of our anniversary, and the following night the coyote came in just, a couple yards away from them. And if those chicks decide to get away, or another one of our fears is that our cats are gonna nab one of these chicks. So we did, unfortunately, have to take the chicks away. They were great moms. They did a very good job of sheltering them. They're not very smart. Once the babies were born, they pretty much ditched that IBC tote, and they didn't want to be in it no matter what. I even cleaned all the old bedding out because it was pretty stinky in there. I had to clean everything out and got all the broken eggshells out, and I put all new bedding in there. But they never went back in, and we had a really pretty big rainstorm, and I was afraid that pooling of water was going to be a problem because they sat right in the middle. This bald spot here is pretty much where they hunkered down, and they each had a baby underneath them. And I thought the babies were too young, and I thought that they were going to be too cold and get wet, but they came out of it and they were fine. But with this setup, we cannot have our turkeys rearing up their young, because we have nothing to enclose them in with. And like with our chicks, with the chicken tractors, that's different because we can close in the chicken tractors. Since we removed the chicks, we were able to put George back in. And everything has seemed to go well. We had 12 chicks hatch out from the incubator, and we only kept 3. This weekend we sold the other 9. And so then we had these 3 chicks here that we took away. And my concern, we were going to immediately put them in here, but then we came in and saw the size difference and we were a little concerned. So we brought them into the house, and they spent last night in the house, and we gave them food and water, which I never saw them take any of the food and water that we had in their yard. And I put it in there, and I don't know that they ate or drank any of it. So I was concerned that they weren't going to eat or drink anything in the house that we were giving them. And so Mike and I decided that we would try putting them in here, and maybe it would be like a monkey see, monkey do kind of a thing. They would see the other chicks eating and drinking, and they would follow suit. And it seems to have worked for 2 of them, and 2 of them are doing very well. However, this one that is under the warmer currently is not doing so well and is pretty weak. And I picked it up and I gave it some water and it piped up. But I am still concerned about it. I have seen, and I'm sure you guys just saw, this one, I've seen the other 2 drinking, and this one we just saw eating. So they're active, and, well, I guess the other one in the back, the little guy in the back is taking a snooze right now, but I was just sitting out here watching them, and I've seen both of them drink, and we saw this one just eating now. Woo! But the other one I'm keeping a close eye on because it's very lethargic, and I put it up to see if it would eat, and it didn't. So I'm going to keep force feeding it water to see if that helps. I might give it some honey for a little nutrient boost. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So, lesson learned again for us. We cannot have our turkeys raise out chicks until we have them in a enclosure, basically, because these chicks are just so small, and we don't want them getting eaten, and we don't want the moms getting injured trying to go after them. So if we had an extra chicken tractor, we could have put them in there, but we don't. So I think incubating is going to be our go-to from now on with these turkeys, with the setup that we have currently. And I'm hoping that this chick will be able to come through and get strong and we'll just keep hoping. And learning. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.